you, Roger?
Are we the first ones?
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in Yorkdale.
You're at the mall?
I had to be I had to evacuate my.
What?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, I had to leave my house because my wife is sleeping. She did work an overnight last night, and I didn't want to wake her up with a call. So I said, let me just take off somewhere and go have a coffee or something.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Just disappeared.
Yep. That's me.
Oh, there you are.
There it is.
Oh my God, can I tell you? I don't even know the last time I was at work. I don't like to shop. I'm not a shopper.
Yeah.
I don't really like malls, and yeah, I can't even tell you the last time I was ever at Yorkdale. It has to be years.
You would recognize the place now.
Wow.
It's changed so much, and they've expanded, and it's crazy.
That's phenomenal. How was your week?
The week's had its ups and downs, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it did. But some good moments. But my I'm having a down moment today, I guess. I don't even truly know why. I think things are not happening the way I want them to, and even though like some really great things are happening, and I think I'm just having a down moment. Nothing that needs an intervention. It's not that I need to go take some uppers or anything like that, right? It's just having a moment today, I guess.
I think I can hear somebody else more than I can hear you.
Let's see if this is plugged in. Is that better? Is that not better?
Like I can hear the person beside you more than I can hear you.
That's weird. How about now?
Yeah, that seems
Is that
to be
any
better.
better? Like that?
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I wonder if your mic
Is
in
that
your
really
headset.
better? Really?
Yeah, that's better when you're close to the
I can't hear
phone.
you at all. Right. I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You know what?
Okay.
It's like I love that you're like, they're just down moments that I'm having, but it's nothing that is like very specific, and things just aren't working. It's almost like you gotta step back from where you are, and it's like, why isn't something working? It's like, where's the block? You know?
Yeah. Your life. Oh. Actually, Nikki Monique said she was actually going to talk to me about that. We're actually going to get together after this call, and we're going to talk about that a little bit because she wanted to help me with that. So she wanted to have a quick counseling session with me. So yeah. There's some really cool people in the PPA.
Yeah. I am like every single day. I am so grateful. I spoke with a guy yesterday from LA. We had a Zoom call, and it was actually Caroline who put me in touch with him. She's like, Heidi, I feel like you need to speak to this guy. And he studied under Bob Proctor for a while, and he's coaching him. And then he started this really cool group called the Gratitude Card. And he does these amazing videos, and he's just like, I'm telling you, Roger, he is like the male version of me. He is like super positive, super energetic. We had the most amazing call yesterday. Just kind of like where we're at, how we kind of grew everything. Like there's so much in common, and yeah, I'm always so open to any sort of. It's like when someone is like, you should meet someone, or, you know, someone gets in touch with me and says, you know, I'd love to have a phone call with you. And sometimes I have no idea why, you know, and I have that like every single week where people are like, I feel like I got to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, then we'll have a conversation. I'll never know why we're having that conversation. You know what I mean? But we'll just have it. And I did that with another woman this week. This woman, Dina, that I ended up meeting at Mo Monday. And I'm like, my God, she's just so incredibly successful in like her speaking that she's doing. But she has had this incredible, yet she took a step back because she's like, there's something missing here. Like I feel like there's something, but I don't know what it is. So she's taking a step back, and then I meet you, and it's like I don't know if Heidi is what it is, my next thing, or what it is. So we had a really great call. I have no idea what will ever come of that, but I'm always just so open to like never know what it can do.
Absolutely. I spoke to about 3 people about joining the PPA, all of whom would be absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
2 of them are going to join the next call coming up. The schedule's conflict, but they're both super excited. We're talking a little bit about it. I just know from the way they do things that they'd be a perfect fit for the mentality, for the philosophy. Even their attitude is phenomenal. So
that's the thing. Like, I think the platform is collecting incredible people from all over the world. Like, I'm like every single day, I'm like, how did this person come into my life? Like, I'm like this. So I'm floored with what is being attracted into this space. And how so many people are connecting on so many different levels. Like I'm floored with it. And what I love is like one by one, it's like I'm starting to figure out why each person has been brought in. That's the fun thing about this. The creative core founders, all of them came together to help build it. But one by one, all of them, it's becoming very clear to me that there are a number of them that weren't just brought for anything. They were brought for other reasons. Those reasons are just starting to show up now. One by one, all those reasons are starting to show up. And I'm like, who knew? Who knew you were going to be the person that did this part? And that's what's fun about the fact that this is such a startup, is because it's growing so fast and there's so many new opportunities that are coming in. And it's like all of you are starting to come in, and it's like, like for instance, you guys have been brought in as leaders, but is that going to be your role a year from now? Is that going to be your role 2 years from now? What else is happening that maybe you were brought for this as well? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm finding so cool. It's like, I'm like, because then I'll be like, oh, I this person. Then all of a sudden I'll think about it and I'll go, oh my gosh, that's Ashley. That's Ashley. I got to talk to Ashley. It's her. She's the person to do that. That's what's so fun. Good morning, Michelle. Michelle, I think you're frozen. Can you hear us? Michelle. I think she's. Hey, Michelle. You're on mute, honey. Nope, she's gone. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Wow. That was fun on Monday at Mo Mondays, eh?
That was so fun.
That was so fun. Yeah. Next month is going to be fun as well. So I have to, I finally, like, I talked to Michelle yesterday. So now I just got to get up the webpage to announce everything for one person. So what's going to happen is people can apply in April. And then all of those people need to come to Mo Mondays in March. And then we will announce who is going to take the stage in April.
Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are there usually people that sing at those things? Because I thought that was really cool.
What was that?
I said, are there normally people that sing at those things? Because I thought that was pretty cool. We had two singers that performed.
Mm-hmm. I know, that was really cool. You want to know the most fascinating thing about that? There was, at the next table, people that were sitting on the couches. Mike and I know a lot of them. And so one of those guys that was sitting on the couch is a music teacher. And he produced Sade back in the day. And he, like, one of his artists right now is going to the Juno Awards and everything else. So I was just, here's these performers, no idea, or maybe they did, that this music producer is sitting like that.
That's so cool.
I know.
That's a synergy.
Yeah.
What became of that for them? That would be wonderful.
I wonder too. I was like, I should talk to you. Yeah, that was really cool. Hey, Michelle, you're back.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
You're totally in the dark.
I know. I don't know why. The light's on. Oh, it's the angle. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
How are you feeling, my dear?
I'm so sick. I actually got out of bed to come to the call.
Oh my God, you poor thing. Can I tell you, my eldest son is so sick with it.
Yeah. The sciatica's back too. I'm in so much pain.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Are you going to see a physiotherapist or anything?
I've been to chiropractor twice for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually woke up on Tuesday and I have an old rotator cuff injury. And with this 80-day challenge that I've been doing, I hit the halfway mark now. I've done 40 days. And
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. So the injury's here, but because this muscle that's here goes all the way back and down your shoulder blade.
Yeah.
I woke up on Tuesday, and every time I took a breath, the pain was like, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh, wow.
On Tuesday, and I had to call the physiotherapist and get in for
Yeah.
the appointment just to like manipulate it and keep the pain down. So I went on Tuesday. I was fine by like Wednesday. I was so much better. I was able to work out.
Yeah.
And then I went back on Friday, and she's like, okay, this isn't back. But I had acupuncture for the very first time on Friday. I've never had that before.
Did you like it?
I didn't even really notice it. Like it.
Oh, really?
I have to tell you, I have, which I think is a detriment to my life. I have an extreme high pain tolerance. Extremely high.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so amazing, but it isn't. What happens is an injury or whatever for me, I push it to almost, it's like, because my pain threshold is so high. Like a couple of years ago, I walked around on a fractured foot and didn't even realize my foot was fractured.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, like, and I wore high heels. I because I have this ability to just not, if I don't think about it, it disappears. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel it, and it's
Cool.
It's not as cool as you think, because then I injure myself. You know what I mean? Really badly, but
Yeah. I could use that right about now, though. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know, but like my husband always says to me, Heidi, like when you complain about something, it is at a high pain that would have probably made people pass out.
I know, right?
Yeah. Like when I finally went to the doctors, I was like, you know what, I got to get this looked at, because this uncomfortable feeling in my foot is just not going away.
Uncomfortable. That's cute.
Uncomfortable. I had it x-rayed, and they're like, Heidi, you had a fracture in your foot.
Jeez.
And they said to me, when did this happen? And I was like, oh, about 8 months ago.
Oh my God.
I know, it's not good, guys. It's really not good.
No, that's
anyways,
funny.
my girl always says to me, she's like, that's your superhero power.
Yeah. That's right, eh?
Yeah. Anyways, let's start this fabulous workshop because Michelle, I feel you need some gratitude. This is a really beautiful workshop.
Yeah.
Roger and Michelle, you guys, a lot of this stuff is very common knowledge to you. Both of you practice gratitude. Both of you have gratitude in your life.
Yeah.
This workshop is extremely important for people coming from the Army that are, say, in that victim mode, or, you know, it's like they don't know how to bring that positivity into their life.
Mm-hmm.
So this is extremely important. We talk about it in the Army, gratitude, all the time. It's like, this is the number one thing, that the only way for gratitude to work is if it is practiced on a daily basis. It has to be. Bring it into your life. Okay, so according to Brother David Steinel Rast, and you guys may know of this Benedictine monk, he's very well known. He's 91 years old, and he's kind of like an expert when it comes to gratitude. At the very bottom of this workshop, I share a link with you for a meditation that he did. I think it's 10 years ago that he did, and it's still very relevant today. It has been watched over 1 million times. It is the most beautiful gratitude meditation. So if you don't get to it today, try and find some time in this next week to watch it. It's like 5 minutes long, and it is so incredibly beautiful. But he suggests that 2 qualities belong to gratitude. And this is what's interesting. So this is coming from a spiritual place, a religious place. So he says that gratitude first is appreciation. You recognize that something is valuable to you, which has nothing to do with monetary worth. So it's when you appreciate things, which we know. The second quality is that gratitude is gratis. So it's always freely given. So it's an appreciation that is freely given. Okay. Now, Robert Emmons, and we've talked about him, I think I brought him up in resiliency. He is one of the world's leading scientific experts on gratitude. So first we have a very spiritual, religious view of gratitude, and now this is the scientific one. He's a professor of psychology at the University of California, Davis, and the founding editor-in-chief of the Journal of Positive Psychology. He argues that gratitude, again, has 2 key components. First is an affirmation of goodness. We affirm that there is good things in the world, gifts and benefits we've received. So with him, he's saying that it's an affirmation of goodness. So very much an appreciation. In the second part of gratitude, he explains, we recognize that the source of this goodness are outside of ourselves. We acknowledge that other people gave us many gifts, big and small, to help achieve the goodness in our lives. So he, as well, says it's a gift. So there you have it, from a religious and spiritual view, and now from scientific. Both are pretty much saying that gratitude is the same thing, which is fascinating to me. Okay, now, can practicing gratitude increase your overall happiness? So this is the biggest question that people ask, because they're like, how is it me just being grateful for things? How is that going to shift me into happiness? Well, a study conducted by Emmons and McCullough, so this is his partner, in 2003. This study, when you look up gratitude, this study will come up over and over and over again. It's actually quite famous. So they did this study on gratitude. How can gratitude have an impact on our well-being? Research was carried out with 3 experimental groups, and this was done over a 10-week period, okay? So group 1 was called the gratitude condition group. So the first group was asked to write down 5 things they were grateful for each week for 10 weeks of the study. So that's what they were asked to do. The second group is the hassles condition group. They were asked to write down 5 daily annoyances, hassles from the previous week. And then, of course, there's the control group. They were just asked to list 5 events that occurred in the week, positive or negative. They could do whatever they wanted. Okay, so the types of things people listed in the grateful condition group included sunset through the clouds, the chance to be alive, the generosity of friends, the right to vote. They wrote all of these things that they were grateful for, which are very similar to anything that anyone would write down. The hassles condition group, of course, talked about hard to find parking, burned my macaroni and cheese, no money for gas. I mean, very common. Those are the complaints anyone would do. The control condition group, they actually listed both positive and negative. Okay, so before the experiment began, they picked people that had already done daily journals about their moods, their physical health, their general attitudes. So they were already journaling. So this wasn't all of a sudden the first time, because they needed some sort of comparison to do this experiment. So they took their journals from before and compared them to now what they did. This is the thing, the shocking conclusion. This blows my mind. People who were in the gratitude condition group felt 25% happier. After 10 weeks, their happiness had gone up 25%. They were more optimistic about the future. They felt better about their lives, and they even did almost an hour and a half more exercise a week than those in the hassles group. So not only had their happiness gone up 25%, now they were adding new things to their health. Everything was happening. Everything increased. In 10 weeks, that's the thing that blows my mind. If in 10 weeks people's happiness can go up 25%, can you imagine if they do it for 52 weeks of the year? How much their happiness is going to increase, how much their health is going to get better. That's what is so incredible about this particular study. So why is it important to practice gratitude on a daily basis? Now, so there are times in your life that you're always happy. There are times when you have like definite excitement in your life. Maybe the time you bought your first car. Maybe it's when you got a promotion. Maybe it's when all of a sudden you got into your skinny jeans because you lost some weight. There's always something. That's me right now because I got into my skinny jeans. Seriously, I was like, I fit in my jeans again. Okay, so when good things happen, we feel positive emotions. We feel excitement, relief, pride, happiness, all those things happen. But the thing is as human beings, we have a problem with happiness because the excitement of the first car wears off. That's what happens. You get your car, after a few months, it starts to wear off. You buy that new house after you've been in it for a year, it kind of wears off. It's just my house now, right? It's like all of a sudden you fit into your size 8 jeans. It's like, well, why can't I get into a size 6, right? So it's like we're constantly doing that. Psychologists call this phenomenon the hedonic adaptation. This happens. The idea is that no matter how good something makes us feel, or even bad, most of the time we drift back to where we started emotionally speaking. So we go back to baseline. And this is why in a lot of cases when people get married and it's like, the first couple of years, it's so exciting. And then all of a sudden they just go into a routine and they start to get bored of each other. And it's like, that's what happens. We do this. One study famously showed that despite their initial euphoria, lottery winners were no happier than non-winners 18 months later. 18 months later, they felt just like someone that hadn't won. The same tendency to return to baseline has been shown to occur after. So marriage is a good one. Anytime you get a new job, all of a sudden it's like, it just starts to set in that it's, oh my gosh, now I've got more responsibility. Now I have this. It's like these things naturally happen. Gratitude is in many ways the opposite of this adaptation. It's going out of your way to focus on something rather than taking it for granted or letting it fade into the background. When we are grateful for our positive experience and practice our gratitude again and again, we don't just make our happiness last, we kick it up a notch. And as we saw, gratitude in 10 weeks can change your happiness. So human beings spend a lot of time trying to figure out what will make them happy, but not nearly enough time trying to hang on to the happiness they already have. We already have all this happiness. Oh, you're on mute, Roger.
Yeah, I was just going to say absolutely. That
Yes, it's so true.
Time, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody. We spend so much time thinking about what we want that we don't have, instead of thinking about all the things that are like right in front of us, that are like right there, that we should be happy and thankful for. And you forget to even like say thank you for that. It's like taking a spouse and taking them for granted almost. It's they're there and you are happy with having the opportunity to say anything. All you're thinking about is, oh, what else could I be doing? What else could I be having in this moment? It's like that's just the wrong attitude.
Exactly.
I'm the first to say I'm as guilty as anybody of falling into that trap.
Yeah, no, 100%. Honestly, it's quite shocking, and that's why, like, with this workshop, I mean, hello, Nikki. I don't want to ignore you. Hello, sweetheart. Welcome.
I'm so sorry I'm so late, though, is because I had a water guy that we had a water issue 2 days ago, and the guy finally shows up, and of course now he shows up. So it's down.
Oh my God.
The water tank is leaking, so I apologize though, because
no worries. I'm glad you're here. We're talking about gratitude today, and so many people, like, I feel this workshop is so incredibly important, and I said that when we first started, because a lot of people don't realize just the benefits and how we can completely shift our own lives. We have the power to do this. It's not something on the outside of us. It's not someone else that's going to come in. It's not something that we're going to buy. It's not money, period. It's looking at what we already have and realizing that by being grateful for it and having gratitude for the amazing things that are in our life, more amazing things are going to come. Exactly. It naturally happens. So, benefits of gratitude. So what?
Heidi, yes, I just wanted to show you. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
That's my gratitude. I do a gratitude list every night.
Oh my God.
Oh, it moved.
Yeah.
And yesterday was like an absolute shit day, and I made myself do it still. There, see? It's a list of 10. So sometimes it's even just being willing to do the gratitude list.
Yes.
Like it's on there that I took a shower yesterday.
There are some days when you have to do that. And Nikki,
yeah.
There was one particular study, you can go back and see it from Emmons, or maybe you already know it, where people that practice gratitude that were asked to do it over a 10-week period, it was proven that their happiness went up 25% in 10 weeks. It blows my mind. So what are the benefits of gratitude? What can actually come of being grateful?
Sorry, Heidi, what page are you on right now? Because I'm just looking at my computer.
Page 5.
Okay,
page 5.
Thank you.
Okay, so gratitude opens the doors to more relationships. Not only does saying thank you constitute good manners, but showing appreciation can help you win new friends. According to a 2014 study published in Emotion, the study found that thanking a new acquaintance makes them more likely to seek an ongoing relationship with you. So whether you thank a stranger for holding the door or you send a quick thank you note to a coworker who helped you, acknowledging other people's contributions can lead to new opportunities. And there's the key there. It's the acknowledgement. Being grateful for another human being acknowledges them. And every single person, it doesn't matter who you are. I remember Oprah talking about this when she did her last season, her 25th season. One of my favorite things that Oprah did was she did that behind the scenes of year 25, and we got to follow how she produced that last season. And I found it fascinating. And she talked about it didn't matter who sat in her seat. It could be a president. It could be the most famous celebrity. It could be, someone that had been abused. It didn't matter who these people were. When the interview was over, every single person pretty much asked the same thing. How did I do? Was that okay? Was everything okay? Every person just wants to be acknowledged. They want to know that they've done a great job. Every person, it doesn't matter who they are. We all need that as human beings. So that acknowledgement and appreciation fosters relationships. People want to be in your life because you've just said, I appreciate you. So the next one is improves physical health. Well, we just saw from that study, the 10-week study, that people that became more happy wanted to work out more. They wanted to be healthier. Grateful people experience fewer aches and pains, and they report feeling healthier than other people. A 2012 study published in Personality and Individual Differences says this. Not surprisingly, grateful people are also more likely to take care of their health. They exercise more often and are more likely to attend regular checkups with their doctors, which is likely to contribute to further longevity. The happier you are, the healthier you are. The more you want to be healthy, the more you want to make sure you're going to be healthy because you're freaking enjoying your life. So that, like that, I just find like it's amazing how one simple thing trickles into all of these different things. It improves psychological health. Gratitude reduces a multitude of toxic emotions, ranging from envy and resentment to frustration and regret. So Emmons, we just saw his research that confirms that gratitude effectively increases happiness and reduces depression. It increases it. Like I'm just like if people just realize by doing this in 10 weeks, you're 25% happier. That blows my mind. Yes, Nikki.
You know what? It's interesting though, because I mean, we obviously, the four of us know this, and we practice this in our lives. No matter how difficult things may be though, at certain times in our lives, we always try to stop. And like Michelle just mentioned, like try to find something to be grateful for at that special time where you feel you've got nothing to be grateful for. That's when it's actually the most important. But I know though, even speaking from, past experiences in my own life, is that, when I had to be on welfare in order to go after my son's father in court in California, and of course I had to have the nurses, check on me every week, and, part of Ontario Works, being on welfare, they're like, if you need medication, here's this. I'm like, you know what? The medication is just a physical thing. It's not going to really help me from the inside out. I go, what I need to do is like meditation, this and this, journaling. They're like, no, here's a medication. They couldn't understand that as long as I found something to be grateful to wake up every single morning for, no matter how bad things were, bills were coming, debt was strong, I was, drained, I was physically aching. Regardless, I had to do the work myself because they couldn't even advise me how simple it was to find something to be grateful for every single day. Wow. And when they started to see the progress that I was doing this without any of the medication that they were advising, and I'm like, look, it's very possible. I go, do you know why people stay on the welfare system? Do you know why people are depressed? Because no one gives them this simple, basic explanation of finding something to be grateful for. 3 simple things every morning before you even get out of bed. Sit there, whoever you pray to, and just say, you know what, I'm grateful to be taking a breath this morning. I'm grateful to, touch the floor that I get to walk on. All these little simple things that people take for granted. You can start your morning so much better if you just say something like, thank you for letting me be here. And, it's when I started explaining this though, and at this time it was interesting because I was, fighting against myself though during the whole welfare procedure and, in debt and everything else. But I kept on thinking, God, I know this is not going to be the rest of my life. I'm just going through this really difficult time. There's something better out there. But the more and more that the nurses saw that I was doing this without, in a sense, their help, they started saying, you know what, you've got to start telling us what you're doing because
wow.
And that was surprising because I'll never forget though when they had to do the report and she's like, I have to sign off on you because I can't even help you. You're helping yourself. And she goes, and I'm embarrassed because the system is paying me to do this for you and you're doing it better than I am. So it was remarkable to hear that because after that, that's when I started getting more volunteering. And the more you volunteer to help other people, that's a showing way that, those people can say, God, I'm grateful for you. And there goes, all of a sudden, you're boosting up their mentality because they feel grateful that you're helping them out. And yet, though, they don't understand there's also that exchange that you're feeling grateful for them because you're able to help them. So it's a beautiful.
That's why, I constantly say kindness is like that is our richest currency that we have is kindness because whatever we put out will come back. It just does. Thank you for that. Yeah, 100%, Nikki. And that's the thing. So it actually enhances empathy and reduces aggression.
Mhm.
So grateful people are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner. Even when others behave less kind, according to a 2012 study at the University of Kentucky. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of mentions of studies here that I go all the way down, because there are going to be people, guys, that you will have in your workshop that it's hard for them to believe this.
Yes.
It's hard for them to believe that gratitude really does this, that there have been studies that have proven that this is a fact. Study participants who ranked higher on gratitude scales were less likely to retaliate against others, even when they experienced more sensitivity and empathy towards other people and a decreased desire to seek revenge from gratitude.
Yeah.
Grateful people sleep better. We all know this. We know this one. Doing gratitude before you go to sleep at night, it definitely helps you. Just 15 minutes of jotting something down is going to help you. And a 2011 study published in Applied Psychology proved that this is a fact. Gratitude improves self-esteem. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. 2014 study published in the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology found that gratitude increased athletes' self-esteem, which is an essential component to optimal performance. Other studies have also shown that gratitude reduces social comparisons. Rather than becoming resentful towards people who have more money or better jobs, which is a major factor in your reduced self-esteem, grateful people are able to appreciate other people's accomplishments, which is amazing. Gratitude increases your mental strength. For years, research has shown gratitude not only reduces stress, but it may also play a major role in overcoming trauma. In 2006 study published in Behavior Research and Therapy found that Vietnam War veterans with higher levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. And a 2003 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to resilience. Do you remember that study I told you guys about in resiliency, about the 9/11 attacks? They recognize all you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times of your life, fosters resilience. So all of that is incredible. So there's a little graph here that shows happiness in the center and how emotional, social, career, health, personality, all of them, because of gratitude, contribute to happiness. So how do you develop an attitude of gratitude? We've heard that saying a million times, but how do you actually do it? So the first one is, of course, count your blessings. Studies suggest that writing in a gratitude journal, the very first workshop we did, writing in that 3 times per week has a greater impact on happiness. The physical record of writing also is more impactful than just thinking about it. So that's something time and time again, that is a commonality that I've said pretty much in every single workshop. It's not just saying it, you need to write it. It needs to then, because once you write it, it's like it goes into your subconscious. It becomes important. Yes, Nikki?
It's good though, because I mean, I know we're going to find people who are going to be joining our workshops who are going to say, oh, come on, I don't have time to write. I don't have time to write. So instead of actually getting them, to feel that they're already going to start off in a negative way, the simple way is to say, like I just mentioned, first even say it, but like you said, it's not as powerful as writing it. So we have to explain that to them, but we say, look, at least start your morning with saying 3 things you're grateful for, and then throughout the day say it.
And
then
practice.
Exactly. Get them to start the ball rolling, and then say after 3 days of doing that, now grab a piece of paper and then grab a book. Give them those baby steps that they're going to need to say they can do this, because we may intimidate them by saying, no, grab this gratitude journal. And I know, in the past where people have said, oh, I don't have time. It's like, you know what, then do something simple. Don't put pressure on yourself. But again, start the day with something positive. Exactly. Middle of the day, end of the day, like you said, same thing.
The thing is as long as it's better if they say it than just think it.
Exactly.
Saying it or writing it can be extremely powerful.
For sure.
So there's things like, the thing is what I love is Michelle already mentioned it. Writing down something that you're grateful for doesn't need to be these massive things. So like examples could be like, I'm grateful for the tasty sandwich I had at lunch. Yeah. Like Michelle said, I'm grateful I got a shower. So it doesn't have to be these super large things. The goal is to just do the exercise and practice it on a regular basis.
Another thing too is, Heidi, is that I don't know if you've used this word in this yet, but the mindfulness though of being aware at that moment of gratitude, because like you just said there too, it's like having us tell people, you know, be grateful for something, and then telling us to do that to them and having them be grateful. Like you just said, if you have having a sandwich, you're enjoying the sandwich, be grateful at that moment that you enjoy that sandwich. Say it out loud. I love this sandwich. Thank you so much for this sandwich.
Can I tell you, I took a shower this morning and I bought these new towels this past week. And so I just put them in the bathroom yesterday. So today was like the first time I used this towel. So I used it and I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. It was like the most luxurious, beautiful thing I wrapped my body in. So I went downstairs and I literally, Mike was sitting downstairs having a coffee and I went downstairs and I said to him, I'm like, I'm just going to say to you that you are going to have the most enjoyable moment when you get out of the shower. That towel changed my life today. I was like, oh my God. And so I came upstairs and I'm like, have fun with the towel. Like, I was so grateful for this freaking towel. Like, it's, and that's the thing. It's like, I do. Like, I literally, like those moments, I like literally wrapped it around myself. I was like, this is the best hug ever. Like, it's so at that moment. I so appreciated that moment. And then Mike was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy my towel. You know, like, he most of the time thinks I'm just crackers anyways. But another great example is if you don't want to write in a journal, and I know a lot of people do this, and Joanne, who's a leader from the first session in November, you can do like a gratitude jar. She has a box. So she has a box that says gratitude on it, and there's like Post-its beside it, and just Post-its all over her house. And whenever she has that moment, she writes it on the Post-it and she puts it in the box. And her daughter do this on a regular basis. And then what you can do is at the end of the month, or you can do it at the end of the year, you can make this a New Year's Eve thing where you open it up, and it's like, what's so incredible about that is you enjoy that moment in the moment, but then a month later, she's like, I can't tell you what a gift it is to go through a month's worth of things I've been grateful for, and to just think of those memories and to go back to that place. It's like the most beautiful gift we can give ourselves, to just go back to that moment of gratitude. So that's a really, really fun one. Yes, honey?
It's funny that because the gratitude jar though, my grandmother had those, you know, those mason jars long time ago for like fruits. So when she had passed, so my mother had found a whole bunch of jars in the basement though. So I'm like, you know, don't give them away to, you know, secondhand stores, whatever. Let me keep them because I have an idea for children. And I haven't done this yet though, but I just tested it out though for Chinese New Year's with these little, you know, those like little fortune kind of boxes with a little handle. It looks like a takeout box, but they're really tiny. So for Chinese New Year's for the children, which are 2.5 to 6 years of age that I help teach, I said to them, take this little box and this is your wish box, but every morning wake up and say that you're so thankful for one thing. Because of course these are young kids. And it's amazing because I had 2 children in the class so that it was a little bit violent. They would actually kick their friends. They weren't verbally actually communicating to their friends of what they wanted to do. But they started to do this though. In the span of 3 days, they weren't kicking anymore. And it was weird because I said to them, I go, why are you, you know, I go, I see you're happier today. They're like, yes. They go, Miss Monique, we took the box and I said, thank you this morning for my pretty box. I go, good. I'm so happy to hear that. And then another girl said, yeah, I said, thank you for my mommy and daddy because my mommy and daddy gave me a kiss this morning. I'm like, good. It was just like one little thing. But it changed them at 2.5 to 6 years of age. One thing. So can you imagine what's going to happen when they grow up if they continue this all?
100% I agree with you. Another thing I want you guys to be aware of is mental subtraction. So, you know, in the words of Joni Mitchell, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. That's what mental subtraction is. But sometimes just imagining that something is gone is enough to make you appreciate what you've got. And there's not, I mean, there are some people that don't believe in this because it's like, why would you focus on something negative? But I'm going to tell you guys something. A 2008 study by Mink-Young Koo found that completing a 15-minute mental subtraction writing exercise led to increased happiness and gratitude. Mental subtraction can counteract the tendency to take positive events for granted. It helps you recognize how fortunate you are that things transpired as they did. So take a moment to be grateful for positive events in your life. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your house, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your friends, whatever it is, and then reflect on what life would be like without them. That moment you all of a sudden take that out of your life, you know, it's like I literally just thought in my head as I thought of this that Mike wasn't in my life. The thought of that made me sick to my stomach. Like not having this human being in my life I would be so incredibly sad. So knowing that, it's like it makes me appreciate him even more. So this, I don't think this is something we should do on a regular basis. I don't like to think of what it would be like to not have people, but if you were going through, Roger, you mentioned, this week, it was kind of like ups and downs, ups and downs. This type of thing is great sometimes, especially when you start to go down. And it's like, okay, you know what? I just need to go to this place. I'm going to mentally subtract everything from my life. And then it will shift you into a place of happiness and gratitude with it. Like, what the heck am I being so down for? I have so much in my life, right? So say thank you. Gratitude, I know that's like, okay, yes, I know, say thank you, but it's extremely powerful. I want you guys to think of this. When you go to the mall, Roger's at the mall right now, he's at the Yorkdale. You go to the mall, you walk in the entrance, and you hold the door for someone, and they walk through, and they don't say thank you. What happens with you, right? Yeah, see? Yes, right away. We'll get instantly angry.
I say you're welcome.
Some people were like, hello, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Like you go to a place of anger. Now, hold the door for someone. They walk through and they say, thank you. How do you feel in that moment? You're like, oh, no problem. What has happened? You have been acknowledged and you're appreciated by a stranger. A simple thing like saying thank you can shift how you feel. So not saying it is going to do the complete opposite. So gratitude, this can also happen with small gestures like thank you notes. Thank you notes, just sending a thank you note to someone, reaching out and saying, hey, listen, thanks for that. I really appreciate it. That is going to increase people's happiness. Also, a 2005 study led by Martin Seligman described that if you wrote the gratitude letter and you actually read it to the person, you said it, those who delivered and read the letter to the recipient in person rather than just mailing it reaped even greater benefits from it, even better by saying it, which is amazing. And I have to tell you, I buy thank you cards all the time. I love thank you cards. I think it's just a simple thing. What I love, you can go to the dollar store and get a package of thank you cards. There's just something about sending that thank you card. And the thing is I feel like with social media, people will put stuff in their news feed or whatever, and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon to say like, oh, thank you for that, or you're amazing, or whatever it is. But I always say go the extra step. Send them a private message. Don't just be someone in their news feed. Like really, I have to tell you, that moment when you reach out and you appreciate that person privately, it's unbelievable what happens. Yes, Nikki.
It was funny you were saying that and just triggered my mind. I don't know if you, any of three of you have actually read the book, and I'm trying to look for it because I have it. I just don't know where I put it. But it's called A Simple Act of Gratitude. And it's about a gentleman who was going through everything negative that could possibly have happened at once. And what he decided to do is actually start writing a gratitude letter per day for 365 days. And he would actually do the old-fashioned way of writing it out, mailing it out, and sending it off instead of doing it on a computer. Because just like we all talked about, the art of writing with the hand is so much more powerful than typing. And he did that though, and he actually did a study of it, of himself, how he did it, and then he wrote a book based on what happened in his life within 365 days. The fastest thing that happened would occur within 3 days. They started noticing a shift in his own emotions. And it was powerful because he said everything that had happened, and he looked at the 1 year mark, his life was completely transformed. all because he did this one letter per day and he literally wrote it out. And then he found that there was people that may have moved or whatever. So of course those letters never got, they came back returned to sender. But then he said, it doesn't matter. I still wrote it at least. So the act of even writing it, even though the person didn't actually receive it, he felt better by releasing it out, and he wrote it out. And it was so powerful. And then another one was this book here called Attitudes of Gratitude, How to Give and Receive Joy Every Day of Your Life by M.J. Ryan. And this book too is actually really, really cute, because this one too actually has a little bit of, little chapters of different ways to show your gratitude as well. Simple little acts that just allows you to have that attitude each day too. And they're very powerful tools.
100%. Like there's something to be said for the written letter. There's something to be said about still receiving mail. That act in itself, and again, that goes back to that kindness, where it's like, it's the most incredible currency that we have. My sister has had a lot of health issues in her life, and it was about 2 years ago, she went through a really bad bout with health issues, and she had to have surgery again, and she wasn't bouncing back as much. She was kind of in a really dark place. And for 3 months straight, when she was at the worst, and it was like I knew she needed something to get out of it, and she couldn't do it for herself. For 3 months straight, I sent her a letter every single day.
Wow.
Every single day. So every day she had one task to do, and that was she would go to the mailbox, and she would have a card from me, a letter from me. I would, send her stories, like whatever it was, and every single day. And one of the weeks I was actually away, Mike and I went away to Cuba, and I left all of the letters, and my son every single day went to the mailbox and put it in the mailbox. And so for 3 months straight, she got these cards and letters. She's put them all in a photo album so that she can go back whenever she's down and just read through all of them, what they were. But it was enough to just get her out of where she was. Just that simple act of just, like I said, sometimes it was just a card. I would, just tell her what she meant to me. And I would find all of these incredible, you'll notice in the workshops, there's different fables and stuff like that. A lot of these fables and stuff are ones that I found when I was writing these cards to my sister, like anything to just get her to a better place.
That's
but
amazing,
there's something to be said. There really is something to be said about that,
That's amazing.
And I can't even tell you what it meant for me to do that act. You know what I mean? Like, it made me feel so much better, because my sister doesn't live in this city, so I didn't see her every day. And she was even to a point where she wouldn't return texts or emails because she was just in such a dark place. But it was a way that I could connect with her and help her without her then having to do anything. And it did. It really did make a difference.
But she also was open to receive it, though, from you, too.
Yes.
I mean, that's the difference.
Yes.
I mean, you can write these letters, and if someone's not willing to open themselves or to wanting to change, they're going to just think, oh, okay, why is this person telling me this? But because she knew you came from a place of love and that and the desire to help her, she was also open to receive it. It just worked so much magically, which is amazing for you to do that, because it helped you, too. So.
Oh yeah, and because she was also pulling away from me, so it was a way for like me to help us keep close again, because I knew she was going into like such a dark place, right? But yeah, she's much better now. Yay! Okay, so the don'ts of practicing gratitude. I know you're like, how is there a don't? There actually is. Okay, so don't overdose on gratitude. And what I mean by that is, yes, be grateful constantly. But if you have to push it, do you remember when we were doing the journaling workshop? And I said, here in the 5-minute journal, it says to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. But if you write down 2 and then you're struggling to figure out what the third one is, leave it. Just walk away. And why is, if you find yourself hesitating when putting pen to paper, you may begin to think your life isn't that good, or you don't have that much to be grateful for. It can have a negative effect, because all of a sudden it's like, seriously, I can't come up with 3 things that I'm grateful for. You could go to a dark place. If that's the case, take a step back. Focus on quality over quantity. Okay, so it's always just the quality. 2 is good. In fact, 1 is fine if that's where you are. So don't go to that place. Don't turn it into a negative. And I think that's a very important key element, especially talking to the Army, because if they're forcing themselves, it could have the opposite effect, okay? Don't focus on feeling grateful for someone or something that isn't worthy, okay? If you are in a bad relationship with someone who just can't make you happy, focusing on gratitude may be the wrong choice here. So this could be a romantic partner, your boss, your roommate, whatever it is. By focusing on all the ways you appreciate them, you may choose to stay where you are when you should be focusing on finding a way to get out of the unhealthy situation. So don't, you know how they're like, you know, just don't sprinkle glitter all over it to make it look pretty. It's like, it's never going to look pretty. Garbage is always going to be garbage. It doesn't matter how you spruce it up. Okay. So make sure you're not doing that. Don't downplay your own successes through excessive gratitude. And we all know these people that do this. After something good happens to you, you will benefit from thinking about and thanking the people who helped make it possible. That is wonderful. But of equal importance is acknowledging your own role in the process. If you are someone who focuses on thanking everyone else, downplays your own hard work and talent to a fault, you may be hiding low self-esteem behind your gratitude, okay? Don't let gratitude get in the way of appropriately taking credit for your own part in the success. So we always need to remember, we are the most important people. Not everyone else, we are. In our life, we're the most important person, okay? Don't mistake gratitude for indebtedness. Sometimes this happens. Gratitude is the positive emotion you feel when someone helps you out. Indebtedness, on the other hand, generally leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. Someone helped you and now you owe them. Okay? That is not being grateful. We should not owe people. Okay? If you mistake feelings of gratitude for indebtedness, you may find yourself working hard to repay a favor, not to express your appreciation, but to take the weight of debt off your shoulders. In close relationships, this means to repay that tit for tat thing. Leads to negative feelings between partners. Repaying someone who matters to you too quickly may be a sign that you don't want a close relationship. Okay? You being grateful for someone doesn't mean that you owe them. And Mike and I know a couple. We know a couple who this is their entire relationship. It's always tit for tat. And it's actually quite unhealthy. And over the years, that's led to resentment. So because it's constantly this tit for tat, it's like they just can't appreciate and be grateful for what the things are, okay? So it's like if that person goes out of their way to do something for them, it's like they have to right away do it for them. It's like, well, you know, like I can't have him having it over me that he did so many great things for me. It's like, over you? This is your partner. What? Like, see, that's ridiculous. See how ridiculous that even sounds?
A competition.
Yes, it is. Okay, so as we know, guys, I mean, we talk about this in the Army constantly. Gratitude is only done when it is practiced. That is the only way this works. It must be practiced constantly, every day, once a week, 3 times a week, whatever works, but it needs to be done consistently. So, easy way to do this, post words, photos, objects of gratitude in your home, whatever it is. Post them. Post-it notes are like literally, I have post-it notes everywhere in my house. They're everywhere. And on my fridge, there is more Post-its all over my refrigerator. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And like, I literally got these like vinyl stickers. Like, look, I'm going to turn the wall. Can you see them on the wall right there? Mm-hmm. Can you see those?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's like, I got those at the dollar store and they're just like, they're chalkboard little stickers and they're vinyl stickers and you put them up and it's like, these are great reminders for you to be practicing gratitude. If it's something that you're not in a habit of doing, post it, whatever it is. Carry a physical token of gratitude. For me, it's my dog tag. This dog tag, and I constantly rub it all the time. And a lot of times it's like, it will remind me to like, oh, like I'll go into a moment of gratitude. So it could be your dog tag. It could be, I also have stones everywhere. I have them in my purse. I have them in pockets of jackets. It's like when you touch it, There's your reminder. You've agreed to have a reminder of when to do it. So the moment you touch it, the moment you see it, the moment whatever it is, so a physical token is going to help you. Change your language. Another trick that works well is catching yourself saying this, I have to do. We say it all the time, I have to do. Change it to I get to do. It physically changes your emotions. You know what happens? We're always like, oh, I have to do the laundry. Oh, I have to clean the bathroom. Oh, I have to vacuum. It's like all of these things. It's like, no wonder we hate doing all this stuff. We're constantly telling ourselves, I have to do it. Like it's the worst thing in the world. But if you're like, I get to do the laundry. I get to go grocery shopping. You know, all these things, it's like all of a sudden you just even feel better about it just by changing your language. And for some people, a simple thing like that will shift them. Use social media. Listen, as Army members, they are the greatest people for this. Posting on a regular basis. Michelle, you post Louise Hay stuff into the Army on a daily basis. It'll have, you know, the date and it'll have the same from Louise Hay. It's like that is a way of expressing gratitude. It's by putting it out there. We can use social media. Doesn't have to be a bad thing. I was out for dinner last night with some girlfriends and like it blows my mind. Like there was a couple of them going on about, you know, oh, social media, it's a detriment to society, blah, blah, blah. And I literally sat there and I was like, guys, I'm going to completely disagree with you here. Like social media has changed my life. Social media has been the best thing in my life. My feed is not, it's not filled with anything that is negative. And people that were negative, I just got rid of them. Guess what? I unfriended them or unfollowed them or whatever it is. It's like, you don't have to. I'm like, we get to choose what we're doing here. If you thought that stuff's negative, then get rid of it. It's just that easy. Change your passwords to words of gratitude. This is such an incredible tip for someone that is going to be starting this practice. Think about it. Your computer, you changed it to I am grateful or gratitude. Every single time you type your password in, you are literally filling your head and shifting everything to a place of gratitude. Every single time. I am grateful. I am grateful. There's an article on the Positive People Army. A guy who lives, he lives in Asia. He sent me this incredible article that he wrote, and I posted it in the Positive People Army. He's a part of the Army. And he did this experiment with himself, and it was a way he manifested things in his life. And it was by changing his passwords. By changing his passwords to what it was that he wanted to manifest. Be it that it was that he was grateful, that he wanted a new job, that he wanted a relationship, that he wanted whatever. He kept changing his passwords, and all of this stuff started to manifest in his world. Like it's absolutely brilliant on so many levels and such an easy thing to do. Turn everyday moments into gratitude practices. Now, what I mean here is autopilot moments. Autopilot moments. Shift them to things of gratitude. The number one autopilot thing that we do as human beings is brushing our teeth. Most of the time, you probably don't even remember, oh, did I brush my teeth? Oh, yeah, I did. I brushed my teeth. Because we're in autopilot. And as human beings, we do this when we go to the bathroom, when we brush our teeth, sometimes when we drive our cars, sometimes when we're showering. The things that we do on a daily basis that's just what we do, whatever it is, we start to, because they're boring and it's just the same thing over and over again, we go into autopilot to do it. Get yourself out of autopilot. There's no reason for you to ever be there. Make those autopilot moments places of gratitude. Yes, Nikki.
I was going to say that one of the places that everybody has in their home is mirrors. They've got a mirror in a bedroom or the bathroom or the front entrance. So with a Post-it note, I always have thank you, thank you, thank you. That's it with ... So that means whenever I'm entering the house or in the bathroom, like you said, those moments where, you're just in the mode, like you're just quickly taking your jacket or brushing your teeth or whatever, you actually see yourself because there's a mirror there. And that because of that little Post-it, that's usually neon colors that I have, it stands out and you obviously just start saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you get to say whatever comes to the first of your mind. And it's amazing because my son does it though. And it's funny to see how much things have changed again, because he's done this for a while, but he's never, no matter what kind of negative moments he has, and I see moments, he'll shift them so quickly because he'll find it's something simple to be thankful for, because he just sees that little, that little note. And because of that autopilot moment, he remembers things that he does now that he would have taken for granted beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you say, have you brushed your teeth? He's like, yeah. He goes, I was thankful for brushing my teeth. I was thankful I had a new toothbrush. I was thankful for the toothpaste that came out properly. Like little weird things, but he was thankful, and that made a big difference. So,
well, practicing gratitude, not practicing it leads to scarcity, leads to anger. Practicing it brings joy and abundance into our life. It's just, that is what happens. And everything we've talked about today proves that. Yeah. For myself, I have one keynote that I do in particular is I talk about all the lessons that I've learned and how I actually learned them. And a lot of them were forced onto me. And one of them, I talk about when I had my store. When I had my store, the wedding gown store, a number of years ago, it was about 8 years ago or so, more than that now. But when I had that, when we purchased the store, we were doing quite well. And I think it was like the first 2 years, everything was really great. And then this was back. So then all of a sudden, I think it was like 2007, we headed into a recession. And when we headed into a recession, I owned a wedding gown store. And what happens in a recession is people tighten their belts because now it's just for things that are necessary. Something like spending thousands of dollars on a wedding dress all of a sudden is not necessary in people's lives. So it hit us really hard all of a sudden. It was like everything was great. And then it just like started to do this. So it was a very, very scary time. And for me, it was a time where, because I've always practiced gratitude, and I've always been in a place of self-development for like the last 25 years. And so I started, really going back and reading exactly, what can I do? This is in my power. It's not in the recession's power. It's in my own power. And for me, the biggest thing that kept coming up time and time again is lack and scarcity comes from that feeling of panic, that feeling of, oh my gosh, if we don't get a sale, if we don't do this. And so what I did is I shifted it to, I just went to a place of gratitude every single day, and just being so grateful for the fact that I even just had a store, that I did have these pretty dresses, that, I was able to meet people. And I have to tell you, the most interesting story about this is in that time that happened, it's funny how the universe then brings these people back into your life. I remember this one particular woman coming in. She was all by herself. Her mom had canceled on her, and she needed to buy a wedding dress. It was like a Wednesday. Like there wasn't a lot of people. It wasn't a Saturday where tons of people were in the store. And I was all by myself in the store working. And she came in all by herself, and she said, my mom couldn't come, and but you know what? Like I decided I was going to get my dress today. And so, I really just want to do this. And so we spent the afternoon playing in the dresses, and we had so much fun, and the two of us connected, and she found her dress. She found the most beautiful, incredible dress. Now, 10 years later or 8 years later, I'm not very good on how many years ago, that woman wrote, she found the army. Okay. So listen, that was years ago. We didn't become friends. We did not become friends. That woman found the army this past year. And one day I got up and I go to look in the news feed, and she wrote this post, and she said, I found the army, and, I cannot believe this woman has come back into my life when I need her yet again. Yeah. And she told the whole story about that day in the bridal salon. And she's like, 7 years ago, I walked in all by myself, and this woman took me under her wings, and we had the most incredible day, and I found my wedding dress. And now here I'm in a really bad place in my life again. I found the army, and to my surprise, it's the same woman. And so she wrote this. I cried so much, I can't even tell you. But for me, it was like at that time, I was going through such a hard time. And yet I was in such a place of gratitude for this day and for what happened. And after that, it's like the store started to pick up again. It all started to pick up. Everything started to change. It was like, and now for this person to come back, like literally back into my life is so incredible. That person became a leader in November.
Oh,
That's Leanne. So
really?
Leanne, one of our leaders, Leanne, that's her. She became a leader. She was just like, there's a reason you blew back in my life and I am not ignoring this. So she became a leader. But it's like, see, gratitude through all of those times, it works. And it's like the universe will show you that it's working on a regular basis.
I
So
believe that we're always interacting with people that the universe
constantly,
knows
like
that-
honest to God, when she wrote that story, I had forgotten about that day. I mean, I'd had so many brides through the store. I'd sold so many wedding dresses, and I'd had many days like that with different people. But it was like, as I started to read it, I was like, oh my God, I remember this woman. I remember that point. That was when I was in like such a bad place, and I had started to bring gratitude, and I had started to be so grateful. And I remember writing about that and having that moment of like, oh my God, I can have this incredible day, and I can have this incredible moment with another human being. It's about gratitude. This is what I need to do. I need to be grateful for all of these. And more of those amazing people started coming into the store and buying their dresses in the store. And it was like, it was a really magical. It was a magical thing. You guys know, I always say I was a magpie in a past life because I'm distracted by sparkly things. I had a whole store full of sparkly things.
It's like that saying about the bucket, though. You filled her bucket up with positive energy. You gave her something to be thankful because her mother wasn't there and everything else. And yet, though, she did the same thing for you. And then that's why now she came back, because again, she needs your energy and as well. You need now hers to be inspired, though, from what the Army's about. So it all makes sense. So, and then, like you said, the people that unfortunately that, you know, are there to be energy vampires, that's the ones that, you know, you can't help them and they won't take the help, nor do they want to have anything to receive or to give back. Then that's when you just part on, you know, as I call it, though, you let go with love, and you let them be on their way until they find what they need. And
Exactly.
You're always there, but they have to come to us. So, you know.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. I have to tell you something. Life is so incredibly magical. It is so magical if we see it and appreciate it and love it. So that's why, so here is the link. This is the bottom of the workshop. The YouTube link is there. It's called A Grateful Day with Brother David. You must watch it. There's 8 reasons listed that they have on the site, and I've copied them into here. It's needed, it's quick, it's soothing, it's instructional, it's beautiful. This, I'm telling you, it is so incredibly beautiful, this link. 10 years ago, he did this. Brother David recorded A Good Day, which has been watched over 1 million times. And they ended up revamping some of the photos to go along with Society Now, but they kept his original narration, and it is so beautiful. So please, if you can today or sometime this week, and whenever you need it, go to it. It will make you appreciate so much in your life. How he takes you through the entire thing makes you really appreciate things. So take a moment to go check it out. There we go. That is gratitude. We've beaten it to death. I think that was a good one. Did everyone enjoy gratitude? Yes.
Hey, I gotta ask, is that woman still married or not?
What was that?
Leanne. Is she still married or not?
No, she's not still married to that guy anymore. Nope. She ended up getting out of that relationship, and that's why she came and found the Army. Her mother passed away. It was a really difficult time that her mother passed away. She got out of that marriage, which was a good thing. It ended up turning into a very toxic relationship, and she got out of it. And so she was in a really hard place. She's a single mom now. And she was like in a really tough place, and so someone recommended to her because she was going through so much stuff. And she's such a light. I can't even tell you. If like when you guys meet Leanne, you'll be like, oh my gosh, you are such a beautiful light. And a friend of hers said to her, you know what, you are such a positive, beautiful person, but I know you're going through a lot of stuff. You should join this group. You should join this group called the Positive People Army. And so she joined it, and she didn't realize that it was me. And so she's like in the group or whatever. And then she said one day, all of a sudden, it's like your video popped up. I was in there and she's like, oh my God, that's Heidi. What is Heidi doing here? And that's how she ended up finding out that it was like, oh my God. And then I woke up to this note this one day that she posted in the Army. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me with this? I was blown away, absolutely floored. And so then we started talking back and forth. And then the Impact program got developed, and she was like, Heidi, this is a sign. You are back in my life for a reason, and I am taking this as a sign. I am supposed to stand by your side. And I was like, let's do it. Yeah. So yeah, she's such a great light. Yeah. And you know what? She's gone through a really tough time, like going through all the workshops, we're oh my God, like they couldn't have come at a better time for her, with a lot of stuff that she's been going through, and now having all these tools to get her through all of this stuff. And it's changed how she thinks, how she sees things, how she's dealt with things. Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. Mm-hmm. Yes. Did you guys like gratitude?
Very
How
nice.
are you doing, Michelle?
I'm okay. Just
I think you need to go back to bed.
yeah, I know. It's almost like I drift. I feel like I'm drugged, but I'm not. Like it's a weird feeling. So
Wow, I think you're changing.
Some people feel that.
Heidi, it's amazing. You can feel that energy through the computer, but Michelle and I have been conversing back and forth, and I know she's starting to break off a layers that she has. Hey, Michelle?
yeah.
You know this, and
do.
we're going to be doing more work together though, because she needs to have this guidance and that support that she deserves, and she's now wanting it, and because she wants it, now the universe is going to shift it for her and start breaking off the dead skin that she's got on her, and it's amazing. It's like I say this to you right now, Michelle. It's like I feel like I'm going to cry for you, because I know what you're going through, and I'm so grateful to you that you trust me that I can help you on this, because my God, you will be so where you want to be, and you just need this extra boost. And with Heidi here and with Roger and everybody else, I mean, we keep on coming together because there's a reason. All of us are feeding each other's energies to help each other one way or another. And I know what you're going through, you are not going to be the same person. I guarantee you, when you let go of this dead skin, you shed it like I would have to say, like my geckos, you shed your skin. You'll shed your skin now, and you will become this amazing person that you already are, but you're going to finally appreciate who you are. Because right now you're just trapped in this quicksand. But I don't believe you're going to drown, because I know you've got too much power in you. That you keep on reaching out for that stick, and you are going to pull yourself out. And I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I really am.
Thank you.
We all have the capability to do it. We really do. But I'm going to tell you, no one is going to say that it's easy, because it's not.
No.
It's not.
No.
If anything worth it, you will do the work. You'll just do the work. I mean, 100%. There have been many times in my life where it has been the worst times, the worst times. Like, when I talk about the store, that beautiful store that I had, that store actually ended really bad. That chapter in my life ended really bad. So we owned the building. It was a 5,000 square foot building, and we owned the store itself. And we purchased it from friends that owned it before. They were friends of ours. And, very wealthy people. Annette owned the store. She loved running it. Her and I were really good friends. And she would always say to me, you're going to take over the store one day. And I'm like, I don't want a bridal gown store. I don't want to run a bridal gown store. And so it kept coming up until one day she's like, you know what? I want to retire. I'd love for you to take over the store. And I'm always open to okay, maybe this is my next journey. Maybe I am supposed to do this. I've been in the wedding industry for so long. And so they held the mortgage for us. So we didn't go to a bank. They held the mortgage. So we bought the building, we bought the store. They held the mortgage for us. We made our mortgage payments to them. Bill, her husband, was very, very heavily involved in investments and had done things like this with other people. So we're like, okay, what can we lose here? So it was like, so we had the store for 5 years. So here we did really well, went into the recession, pulled ourselves back out of it, right? Now we're doing quite well again. Bill comes to us, but you have to think through that recession. If you remember back in 2007, and here in Toronto, the same thing happened, all of the real estate prices went down. Real estate like burnt out. So we're down in St. Catharines. So not only was the real estate doing really bad here in Toronto, imagine what it was in St. Catharines. So now Bill comes to us 5 years later and he says, I'm calling the mortgage. Like, I don't want to hold the mortgage anymore. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you can't do that. And he's like, yes, I can. I can do whatever I want. I'm calling the mortgage. So we went to the bank, but because real estate had dropped out when we went to the bank, what we owed on the mortgage was more than our building was worth. More than our building was worth. So we went to every single bank and the banks were like, guys, like there's nothing we can do here. Like because of what happened with real estate, your mortgage is higher than what the building is worth. You can't get a mortgage from us. So we said to Bill, like we can't get a mortgage. Like, you have to continue. He's like, no, I'm calling the mortgage. So we ended up having to give back the store. We almost lost everything. Everything. We almost lost our house, our car. We almost lost everything because of what he did. That financially was the most ridiculous thing we had ever gone through. Like I'm not lying to you, almost lost everything because of this human being. And then, but that was not the part that I had the hardest time with. Because you can get over money. Money will come and go. It will. And I was like, that's not the worst part. The worst part was when we found out that Bill had called the mortgage because his wife wanted the store back. They lied to us. They told us that they had to call the mortgage because his investments hadn't done well and he needed the money and all this stuff. And we ended up finding out months later that it was because Annette just wanted her store back. It was doing well again. It was doing well, and she wanted to run the store and she wanted her store back. And so the fact that they had deceived us was the most devastating thing. The most devastating thing that I went through. So you know what? There are moments where we go through. So here now, Mike and I are financially in ruins, and I'm devastated that our friends have done this to us. Like, I cannot believe it's like, how do you even trust anyone again? So you're like, so that was one of the darkest years that I had, a really dark year. It's like, how do you climb back out of that? And it's like, guess what, guys? You do. You just do. And that's when I wrote a story about this, and it's called What a Difference 24 Hours Will Make. And it was Mike that came up with that, because I was I couldn't stop crying. I was just so upset. I was so devastated by what we were going through. And Mike would say to me every single night, you know what, Heidi? What a difference 24 hours will make. What a difference. And I would say, okay, what a difference 24 hours will make. And 24 hours later, I felt better than I did yesterday. And then every night I would say it, oh, what a difference 24 hours will make. And then the next day I would get up and I'd be like, oh, I actually do feel a bit better than yesterday. And so every day I kept saying this over and over again. What a difference 24 hours will make. What a difference. And every single time I would say it, every single day got better. And so listen, take it by 24-hour chunks. You don't have to worry about a month from now. You don't have to worry about a year from now. Worry about 24 hours, and that is it. And for me, that worked. And every once in a while, it's like I'll have a bad day or someone will hurt me. It's like I'm a Cancer, so my heart's always on my sleeve. And so I've had my heart broken several times. And so, and every single time, Mike and I'll just say, you know what a difference 24 hours will make. What a difference. I'm going to feel so much better tomorrow, and it's so true. It does work. So Michelle, oh, what a difference 24 hours will make.
In the program, the 12-step program, they say the worst day is only 24 hours.
Yes.
Sometimes that minute for midnight is like, oh, thank you, Jesus, it's tomorrow.
It's so true. It's
yeah.
True. What a difference 24 hours will make.
It's true, yeah.
They say that even through grief and bereavement counseling, though, that, that's when they say you're going to grieve day by day. When they say that, it's not just a term, it's because every single minute leads into the future, which then becomes your present. And then after that, it's your past. So you will never be who you were a minute ago. You're always going to be somebody else. So you're always constantly changing, evolving, transforming. Even if you feel you're a dark space within those 24 hours, when you come back to that full circle, like that circle of life kind of idea, but circle of a day, you are going to be a different person. So it's very true. 24 hours makes
Thank God. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you all go enjoy your Saturday afternoon. Roger, I hope you get some shopping in.
Actually, one thing I want to mention, though, I don't know, Heidi and Michelle, if you girls had a chance to see, but the next week until literally probably Friday, March 9th, Live Out Loud and Born to Be Me is in the chapters in Woodbridge. I'm going to be posting some pictures up on the shelves.
I'm coming.
On the shelves.
I'm coming to sign.
On March 8th, you're coming?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So just letting you know, Heidi, because obviously you were part of that though too. So definitely you'll see, I'm going to be posting us after this webinar. I'm going to post some pictures up because I met two of the reps like, this is so profound to see women, local women coming in like, you don't understand these women. I go from, and I mentioned you, Heidi, I'm like, from Heidi Allen to all these other women that have been part of this collection. I go, you don't understand what we've all been through, but we keep on persevering. We keep on rising up no matter how much we crumble down. And she's like, oh my God, that was so great. So it's March 8th is gonna be so powerful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely when you see the pictures and you'll see the post, share them because both of you have to go and see it yourself to see the book on the shelf, the very back of the chapters Woodbridge. And there's a big section and it's literally in the center of the whole store in the very back wall. And it says, Celebrate Women. It's got Carol's book, Live Out Loud and Born to Be Me. And then it's got underneath, you know, the woman, from India, the one, Mala, something, I forgot her name now, Frida or something, I can't remember now, but her book is underneath and all these other, so it's like so powerful to have our books.
Wow. Can you, Nikki, can you share that into the army or share it on first?
Yes, I was going to ask you if I could do that, yes.
Can you tag me? Because then what I'll do is I'm going to share it myself into the army to really celebrate that.
Perfect, thank you, yes, because I think this is something for us.
Thank you for telling me.
Well, because this is so empowering, like you were talking about gratitude and all these different things, but you know what? We don't take this for granted. We are so happy that we all have come together for a purpose to help inspire other women who don't have that voice. Their throat chakra is closed. They don't know how to express themselves. We all each took a moment to let something go that we were holding on to, hoping to, you know, one, free it from us, but two, to help inspire and motivate other women out there. So this is so powerful time for all of us right now that it's, yes, definitely, I would love to share it. And you'll see, Heidi, because of all this, in this month of March, I've been doing a lot of, you know, writing of how I want to start putting more things to the Army. You're going to see that there will be a constant theme like how Michelle's been doing with Louise Hay, but there'll be a constant theme of every day I've decided of a certain focal point to start spreading in the Army of different posts based on something that's going to help to inspire. So you're going to see as of today, I'm starting it then. So you'll start seeing it.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, guys, everyone go enjoy your fabulous Saturday. It's all outside. Look at the sunshine.
I know, it's pretty.
Everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Namaste.